Hey, welcome back everybody. It's Thursday, it's 4 o'clock. You know what that means? It's time for another weekly chat with Pat. Today I've got our CEO, Dave Abels. Greg Handwerk here is the new VP of Operations, correct?
Correct.
Want to go over a couple of things with operations, so we're going to go ahead and start with Greg here. Go ahead and tell us what's happening.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to come in today and chat a little bit to make sure that you're all aware of some things we're doing to support you, our number one customer here at DART. We've really changed a lot of things structure-wise with our fleet teams, and really ultimately what does that boil down to for you? Our goal is to eliminate frustrations and any disconnects that you have. So for example, if you've got a question about payroll, you want to know something about benefits, what we want you to do is get a hold of your FM. And that FM is going to do all the legwork for you while you're out putting on the miles for us out on the road. So it eliminates frustration from you being passed around. We've all had the example where you call your bank and you put in your phone number and your account number, and the minute that call transfers, somebody else picks it up and they ask the same exact information. We're going to eliminate that headache for you. So your FM is your single point of contact, and we've got escalation processes in place if they're not available or something happens where they're tied up. That happens in this business. You've got an ops manager, our director of customer service, and director of fleet operations, Jennifer Hurley, and myself. We will have the form that ultimately shows that escalation plan and contact information, and we'll post it at all of our operating centers so you know who to contact, and if there's something that doesn't happen for you, you know who to go to next. So you're number one, you're our number one customer. It's all designed to help you out and eliminate that frustration.
You know, and that's really a big deal because as a driver, the last thing you want to do is spend 3 hours on the phone trying to find an answer because your fleet manager doesn't know, so you transfer you over here, then they transfer you over here, and then you go back, and then you end up back at the fleet manager. So now you call your fleet manager and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this, my pay didn't look right, or you know, something doesn't look right here. Fleet manager's gonna go, hey, you know what, continue on with your day, I'm gonna go get the answers, I'll get back to you, we'll get this fixed. It's going to save the driver. I mean, you could be on the phone for 2 hours otherwise trying to do it yourself. So it's a big deal.
You know, it's so important. That's why I asked Greg to come in here and talk about this with us today, because we get this feedback. We did our ambassador meeting a few weeks ago. We talk to drivers and contractors every day, and they really need that single source. And we used to have it set up where you call in and you talk to settlements. And as we started to look at that overall process, at the end of the day, the settlement person can tell you what the settlement says, but the person that affects that settlement is typically your fleet manager, right? So either the fleet manager did or didn't put in for certain compensation. So by making you call the settlement person can only tell you what it reads and not what actually happens. They're gonna have to get back with the fleet manager anyway. We really want that one-stop shop to be your fleet manager. They're your partner, they're in this with you. Their success is your success, which ultimately becomes our success. I also wanted to bring Greg in today to talk a little bit about the engagement from an executive level. You've heard me talk about ride-alongs. You've seen me out in the truck with drivers before. Greg spent a few days this week down in our Ellenwood or Atlanta, Georgia terminal, talking to drivers, up-and drivers. I said, told me you were even up cleaning out a guy's truck with them and just engaging with the fleet and understanding what they go through. Gary Faldine, our Vice President of Safety, he's down right now in Atlanta as well this week. He's actually doing ride-alongs with new students on the inbound side to make sure our road tests are uniform across different locations. He's sitting in our orientation classes to make sure that we're bringing you, our valued contractors and drivers, on with the right skills and the right tools to be successful. So we really want you to understand it's all about you. We're in this with you. And we've got some new marketing coming out for truckers, by truckers. Don Orrin asked me one day, he goes, Dave, I saw that. And he said, I've never driven a truck, so I want to make sure we're not misrepresenting anything. Well, Don Orrin is 90 years old. He's been in this business since his family started in 1934. And I said to him, so here's the reality of it, Don. A trucker doesn't have to be a guy that actually held the steering wheel as much as it is somebody who's lived in this industry. And you qualify for that. 90 years, still in the office with us, still out talking to drivers. Last week he showed up at our driver event at dinner with everybody. That's being a trucker, right? We're all in this together. Your success is our success. So really want you to understand that. Greg's got great things going on with fleet. They're changing the structure around. We're going to have independent contractors with independent contractor fleet managers, cent per mile people with cent per mile fleet managers, percentage guys with percentage people. We're going to have company drivers that are on dedicated fleets specifically set up. Everybody's going to be with an expert in that field to make your experience better. And that's really what we want to talk about, Pat. You know, and you mentioned too, we've got a lot of new things going on in the safety department. We're working with people. We've got new trucks that are coming in. We're working on different parameters and different settings. And I know at times it feels like that we're up here and we're kind of micromanaging. We're asking you, why did this alarm go off, or why did this happen? Make sure you bear with us as we work through these things. They're important. Technology is great. It's great for our industry. We all love it, but we got to manage it. We got to learn about it. And we got to understand it, right? So we're working with you on that. Our end goal is for you to be safe, be productive, and for you to make a bunch of cha-ching to take home to mama.
Absolutely. Well, some good changes coming, you know, the restructuring, I think that's going to make things a lot easier. Drivers, remember that one-stop shop. Call your fleet manager. Your fleet manager is going to be able to answer any of the questions that you have. I think that's it. Anything else, Dave?
No,
week?
I'm good. We've got, I think we'll talk next week about the I-80 truck jamboree we've got coming up. I know we've got some of our driver ambassadors that are going to be doing some other volunteer events. We've got the Special Olympics coming up. We've got the wall that we're going to be moving. You know, if you guys are out there in the field and you've got good ideas, or you've got something you'd like us to look into sponsoring, or an event you'd like to do, you're more than welcome to bring that to your fleet manager's attention, bring it to my attention or Greg's attention, or Pat, anybody. We're out there to do things. We want to be involved in your local communities. So if you live in a certain state and they've got events, you want to use a truck on a parade, you want to do things like that, we're here to support you no matter how we can. One last thing, I've got a group of the next generation of leaders coming in today from the Minnesota Trucking Association. We're having dinner at noon here in the facility. Going to give them a tour of the facility, and then we're going to talk about transportation in general. Not so much the DART network, although we do a lot of good things and we do a lot of different things such as warehousing, portable storage, regional relay, trailer leasing, and then over the road and dedicated services. But I want to talk to the younger generations about getting into supply chain, getting into transportation in general, whether that be you come to work for us or you go to work for JB Hunt. We're all in this together. There's enough freight to go around, and we just want you to be a part of this great industry.
Sounds good. Remember, drivers, also, if you haven't got that picture of your truck in for the calendar contest coming up, get those into us at social media at dart.net. Otherwise, till next week, everybody, don't forget, don't be so busy out there building a life you forget to have a life. Stop and smell the coffee in the morning. Catch you next week.